Hi, welcome to the James Whale Radio Show tonight from Bristol. And you want to call us about any subject at all, the number is Leeds 46 1000. We're looking particularly tonight, though, at the plight of the British hostages in Lebanon. It's noisy here, isn't it? And we're going to go and find out if people on the street actually know the names of the 4 hostages. But before we do that, let's get into music. And here's Yen and Billie Holiday Shoes. Excuse me, could you tell me the names of the 4 British hostages in Beirut?
Only one, Terry Waite.
None of the others?
No.
Terry Waite. That's about it.
Is Terry Waite one of them?
Terry Waite is one of them.
I don't know the rest, man.
I haven't got a clue now.
No? No idea?
No. Terry Waite?
No.
No, indeed.
Oh, he is? Yes, he
Yeah.
is, yes. I know you're a very, very nice man. Do you know the names of the 4 British hostages held in Beirut?
Terry Waite. I must admit I don't know the other 3.
Terry Waite,
1,
John McCarthy.
2.
I don't know any of the others.
Oh.
Sorry.
The journalist,
Yeah.
the girlfriend that's always
Yeah,
on TV.
yeah.
Of course, Terry Waite.
Yeah.
No, the other 2 I don't know.
Terry Waite. That's the only one I know, I'm afraid.
What should we do?
What can we do?
Thank you very much indeed. Had to get back to the studio from Bristol. Very nice indeed. Nothing like a jump to start off the show, is there? Hi. Well, welcome to the programme. Now, tonight, the serious subject of what should Britain do about the hostages in the Lebanon. You can phone us, the phone number coming up now on 0532 46 1000, or if you're one of those posh people with a fax, you can fax us as well. This is the number. It's 0532 421 830, and how can the Levi's man be a bald old sexist pervert? Steve Welbeck starts the show off in the custom we have become. In the method we have become what? What's the word? Accustomed to. Accustomed to, yes, thank you very much indeed for that. Now, we have all sorts of things in a different order tonight, like we're going to show you the end credits of the programme before the end of part 1. We don't want you to turn off, but we have something that is a little different towards the end of the show. I'll tell you more about that later. Phone calls are there, aren't they? Yes, and we've got letters and all sorts of things as well. Before we do anything else, if you want to call us about something other than the hostages, you can do that. Nigel Lawson, of course, has been very much in the news. I've just seen him on the news before we came on air. And I think, if we're lucky, and if the phone at number 11 hasn't been disconnected, he should be there. Nigel?
That's Therese, keep the noise down. Stop packing up.
Nigel.
I think we're on. Hello?
Hello, Nigel.
Hello, is that Mr. Whale?
Yes, Nigel. First of all, commiserations, Nigel. I'm so sorry to hear about
Very
your...
kind of you.
Yeah.
Could I ask you, first of all, James,
Yes.
have you ever considered double glazing?
No, Nigel, but is that what you're going into at the moment?
We at Lawson Limited
Yes.
are doing some marvellous offers this month on double glazing. Now,
Nigel?
I can see you there in the studio, and I see you have a large window behind you.
Nigel?
Hello?
Just a minute. I got your P45. I don't know if they can see that. It's a little bright, but I did get your P45.
It's a leak, and
I'm sorry,
it's vacancies on your show.
It's your
a leak.
It's your P40. No, not a P.
Is that Sir Alan at the back of it?
P45. Nigel. And we think we've got a job for you on the show next week.
Marvellous. What is it?
Well, you sort of come on. You bring bits on, coffee, cigarettes, anything any of the guests need.
Oh, very much like my job at the moment.
Yes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Nigel, before I have to get on with the rest of the programme,
Yes.
Is there anything you want to get off your chest about this? I mean, it must have been a terrible blow, because...
I'd like to get this bra and suspenders off my chest, because I was given to understand that you were looking for bimbos.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to be quite that sort of upfront, if you'll excuse the pun, Nigel, about it.
Upfront?
Yeah.
Pun, is it?
Because you're going to need a new house too, aren't you, Nigel? I mean, you're going to be thrown out of it.
Oh, excuse me, James. Sorry, I'm suffering a bit from inflation.
We've had that problem in the studio before we went on air.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Who are those other people with you?
Well, funnily enough, we've got...
It's not an acid house, but
we've got Quackman Norman over here. Yes, very good, Norman. Do that again. Yes, he's been doing that all through
I'm
rehearsals.
rather confused, Mr. Whale. I thought we were on the radio.
No, we're on the television, Nigel. We just call it the radio show to
So
confuse
there's no
everybody.
vacancies for bimbos?
Yes, can we get in touch with you, Nige?
Yes.
You don't
yes.
mind me calling you Nige, do you?
Well, I object to it slightly, but
Yeah.
I suppose I'll have to get used to
Well-
it now I'm becoming a commoner.
You're going to have to become one of the people, aren't you?
Yes, if
Yeah.
you could get in touch with me, CO the Backbenches,
Yes,
House of Commons.
right.
I know it's somewhere around here. I've been there
Yeah,
once.
yes, no, I think you're okay. Nigel, thanks very much indeed. We'll see what we can do.
It's a great pleasure.
Bye-bye, Nigel.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Say good night to Nigel. Good night, Nigel. Pratt. Okay, before we take some more, well, let's take another quick call. Brendan from Harrogate. Hello, Brendan.
Hello, my name is John.
Thank you very much indeed, Brendan. Okay. I beg your pardon? Oh, right, yes, 3 minutes to the break. Well, I get on with some of the letters. We had loads of letters, by the way. Thank you very much indeed for those, including quite a lot of Christmas cards. And if you can find some tackier Christmas cards than these, I mean, that's pretty gruesome, isn't it? Now, come on, you can do better than that. That's pretty gruesome. That's an awful one. I don't like that one particularly. How's that? There we are. And this has to be the naffest Christmas card from Peter... What does it say from Roy, Peter Crampton's brother, a mention he's a big fan of yours, a happy Christmas and a happy New Year, and all that sort of saliva on the back. If you've got... Last year, they had some very raunchy, sexy Christmas cards. Perhaps you could find some and send them in to me. Thank you for those. Postcards, that's a good idea. Now, we're talking about postcards before we get on with the mail. Next week, I need your help for this. Next week, we're doing a show on boring hobbies. We will be majoring on train spotting, because we find that a fairly boring hobby. But we thought also collecting postcards. There are people who collect postcards, and so we're running a little competition to find, here we are, the tackiest postcard out. Those are the categories. All right, tacky, bad taste, boring, and awful colour. We will have a postcard expert in the studio judging these as well. And for the tackiest, most awful, we're giving away some of these instant cameras. And do you know what I'd like you to do with these as well? I'd like you to take photographs of you while you're watching the show and send them in to me. Well, that'd be quite fun. Now, here are the categories. That's a tacky one, all right? Now, that's tacky, very tacky. Look at those poor pussies. And down there in the office today, they said they liked that one. I'd be offended if somebody sent me that, so that's a tacky one. Bad taste, we consider that to be very, very bad taste. At the top, would you have your church decked out like that? That's terribly bad taste. And down, you can see the bull. And that's pretty awful. I don't even want to look at that anymore. Now, boring is good, and we think these are probably the most boring postcards you could get. Now, there we are. It's a very nice house, and I suppose whoever's living in it, if they're watching at the moment, they'll get... can we go back up a bit? Just a little bit, Martin. Sorry. That's fine. That one there, I mean, can you imagine a more boring place to live? And fancy making... It's not even a particularly nice house. Fancy making a postcard of that. Thank you. Down we go, Martin. And there we are. If we have, shush, a seascape, now that's very good. That's the sinking of the Titanic after she went down. I mean, I can't think of a more boring postcard than that, really. And finally, colour. This top one, Martin, look at that. Not your fault, Martin, it's actually like that. It's all out of focus. Pretty awful colours. And the bottom one, well, I'm not really sure why we're showing you that. That is pretty yucky, but very nice colours. So if you can send worse postcards than those, send them to this address, the Tacky Postcard Competition, the James Whale Radio Show, Television Centre, Leeds, LS31JS. Thank you. Some more letters. Now, thank you for all the letters. Bill Brown over in Runcorn said, and he was referring to last week's programme on the press, he said, the thing about the press that really makes my blood boil is that whenever someone famous dies, they're not satisfied until they dig up some dirt on them. Yes, OK, Bill. Paul Bramham in Kendal, who is a press photographer, says if the press photographers didn't show the full horror of events, then financial response to disaster appeals would be nowhere near as good as they are. I see. Paul's obviously feeling a little sorry for himself. Changing the subject slightly, Valerie Brown of London SW17, says she produces this world scoop. Shock, horror, probe. James Whale saves his show in sex change mercy dash. James underwent a sex change operation just 24 hours after Fuzzbox beauty Vicky Perks refused to be his bimbo of the week due to lack of bimbo offers. James is quoted as saying, "I had no choice Very nice. Thank you very much indeed. Now, we're hoping that Vicky Perks from Fuzzbox will be joining us during the show. She promised, and I have it on very good authority from Piers Morgan, of course, from The Sun, who will be on the show a little later on. Piers, we look forward to that encounter just a little later. And Piers has promised me, of course, that Vicky will be my assistant. I thought I'd change the name from Bimbo to Wench tonight. Now, the address to write in all your letters, and we'll have a few more maybe later, is coming up on the screen. There it is, Wales Mail, Yorkshire Television. You know the address, I don't have to go through that. Television Centre, Leeds, LS3 1JS. Julie from Sedgley. Hello, Julie.
Hi, James.
Where is Sedgley?
It's in Dudley, West Midlands.
It's where?
Just outside Dudley in West Midlands.
Oh, near Birmingham.
No, it's the other side, near Wolverhampton.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, near Wolverhampton, okay. What can I do for you?
Well, I've got two questions.
Right, get the first one out.
One plea. Why don't you wear your ties anymore? You look far nicer.
Do you think so? Well, I was sorry to see I wasn't voted best dressed man of the year. I don't wear the ties because everybody else is wearing them. Every time you look at a TV show, that's why. But listen, a very nice try. Thank you very much indeed. Is that a bit better?
That's a lot better.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed, Julie. We haven't got time for the plea, but perhaps next time. Now, because we have something special on the end of the show, can we roll the credits? We're not finishing now, but just so that the people who work on the programme, who don't get paid, by the way, they like to see their names on the screen. There we go, starring, of course. Well, need I say more? Special thanks to, of course. And we would also like to say hello to all these people whose names come up at the end of the programme. There we are, Norman, Steve and Martin. They are our three cameramen tonight. Sound supervisors we've just passed. The engineers we've just passed. It's going very quickly here. Richard Jackson, vision mixer tonight. Jane Norton. Very nice. David Nightingale, he's here without the tie now. Leslie Kirk counts us up to all the bits and pieces, and we've got Chris Clayton, and we've got Gordon Hobbs, he's funny, Melanie Bentley and Louise Weeks, Vernon Grant sitting in the corner feeling miserable, and Ian Bolt, Ian Bolt, who's at home not so well at the moment, so we hope you get better soon, Ian, and Fellini, Graham Pollard is directing. We'll be back after the break.
Out support the James Whale Radio Show!
Right, now let's get back to it. Let's take some calls. Karen from Birmingham. Hello, Karen.
Hello, James.
Karen. Oh, don't be sexist with me, Karen. What do you want?
I'm a chartered physiotherapist, and
Yeah.
I was just wondering how you'd feel about a massage live on the show.
What do you think next week?
Yeah.
Contact us next week. Thank you, Karen. David from Cheshire. Hello, David. Sorry about that. Tom Robinson's on the show tonight. He doesn't like me being smutty. David, hello.
Hello.
Yes, David.
How are you?
I'm very well, David. Thank you.
you.
Spencer from Liverpool. Hello, Spencer.
Hello, James.
Yes, Spencer.
I was just wondering your views on acid house music.
Fantastic.
I've got a big look.
I do know. Thank you very much. I'm sure you have, Spencer. We did have 10,000 people watching the other week in Reading at an acid house party. Now, on to our main topic tonight. Terry Waite, Brian Keenan, John McCarthy and Jack Mann are the names of the 4 British hostages in the Lebanon. Not very many people know. A lot less seem to care. What can be done? Well, I went down to Bristol earlier this week to talk to the people at the International Hostage Release Centre, and this is what they had to say. This rather unassuming industrial estate houses the offices of International Hostage Release. With me is Judith Weaver from the International Hostage Release Organisation. Judith, how did you first get interested in the plight of the hostages?
Well, as far as interest to have on this project, it was actually watching you on a programme, and Jill Morell was on the same programme as you. It was as a result of her interview that we decided to do something about this. We were the same as anybody else, really, in our knowledge of hostages. It's only once we tried to find out, obviously, that we've discovered what's going on.
How can you be sure the hostages are still alive?
How can we be sure they're not? Is the only answer I can give to that. I would say, to my mind, it's asking how long is a piece of string. Until somebody actually gives you proof of any hostage death or whatever, then one would assume they're still alive.
Now, your organisation is called International Hostage Release.
That's right.
And you're interested in obtaining the release of hostages from all over the world, wherever they may be.
Yes. What we're doing is we're coordinating a compilation album to be sold worldwide And with that album, with the artists on it, this is a way that we want to get international awareness of the hostages and our organisation.
I see. So, I mean, is it fair to say, really, Judith, that this organisation was perhaps set up for you to delve into the music business a little bit in this way? So
well, I'm sure that somebody was bound to say that, but at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. That's not why it was set up. No, it was set up because we felt for the subject of the hostages, the only thing we could understand that we might be able to do is this. Proceeds of the album will be going to organisations like the Friends of John McCarthy, like the Friends of Brian Keenan, and the ones in America. If there's no official organisation like that, then families will get donations of money on a means-tested basis. The fact that international hostage release is here, then obviously we feel something has to be done. If we are here, obviously we don't think very much is being done.
Well, what do you think could be done then? What would you, I mean, there will be, whether Margaret's watching at the moment, I don't know, but there will be some politicians watching at the moment.
Put it this way, I think that we have a great power of the media in this country. I think it ought to be used to raise awareness. This could be done in a very much more simple way. You could have, as they did in France, the faces of the hostages up before the news every night with a detailed account of how many days they were kept in there. Basically, to my mind, they've been forgotten a little bit.
Are you totally against any kind of violent conclusion to this?
Yes, I am.
You wouldn't want to see troops sent in?
I do not agree with violence of any kind. I don't think that it would benefit the situation at all.
46-1000, James Whale.
Okay, now we contacted the Foreign Office and asked if they would put somebody up to speak about this on the show, and they said no, they wouldn't, but they did send us their statement, and they say that the government believes it is fundamentally wrong to reward criminal activity, terrorist actions included hostage taking, etc., etc. Because, of course, you remember the French got their hostages back. The Americans, the Irangate scandal, of course, caused quite a stir in America, to say the least. The government go on to say, we will not pay ransoms. In this policy, we are encouraged by the support of the hostages' families, though it would be optimistic to expect early results. We will not be deflected from what we believe to be right. We will be talking to Brian Keenan's sisters a little later on live on the show. Now, with me are Tom Robinson, who'll be playing live a little later. Tom, welcome. And Barry Fantoni, who's written a book which has got absolutely nothing to do with this at all. Not a thing. There's a little light relief in the middle of the programme. Before I talk to you, Barry, Tom, do you have any feelings about this situation? Do you think there's anything that could be done? What would you like to see done?
It's impossible to know what should be done diplomatically on that level. It's impossible to know what is being done, because if it's been done diplomatically behind the scenes, by definition you don't know about it. But on a light, the funniest thing, not that there's anything funny about this situation, but about hostage taking in the first place was Craig Ferguson, who suggested that rather than frisk passengers to make sure they haven't got guns when they get on planes, it might be a better idea to hand them out as they get on.
To give them all guns and then they can all... Yes, I don't know if I go along with that, Tom, but yes. Now, people from International Hostage Release are actually around here tonight, and they have asked if you'd be interested in performing on this album.
I'll donate them a track.
You'll donate them a track?
Yep.
Fantastic.
And encourage anybody else to do the same.
Great. Now, Barry, we got you on. I remember why we got you on. They said Barry's got a great book out. Talk to him about his book, and it'll be a great Christmas present for people. Barry Fantoni's Chinese Horoscopes.
Or indeed a Chinese New Year present, perhaps.
A Chinese New Year present?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Barry, who's interested in Chinese horoscopes? I mean, there's enough aggravation trying to work out what British horoscopes mean.
Only like 10.5 billion Chinese people to start with.
Yeah, but this book's written in English and not many of them read it.
No, but we are trying to educate the Chinese.
I see,
We are terrified that they will come over here and print hundreds of millions of these books.
It says on this, a guide to love, marriage and friendship.
Right.
So how can any of us take this book and improve our lot?
Well, it's terrific for pulling birds.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
And,
Sexist comment there, Tom. I'm sorry about that.
Sexism rears its ugly head again on this programme.
It does. It does.
I was trying to get away from it.
And women do well with men as well, and it works.
How do men do with men?
Oh well, depending on your sexual orientation, as we're taught to say these days, it's absolutely brilliant because you get your right partner bang on. Sorry for the pun.
Does it also function for groups? I mean, like,
you're talking my language, Tom.
We're talking TRB here. Does my group being born in a certain year also give it certain characteristics?
Absolutely, yeah. You want to look carefully at the drummer. I always say.
When were you? When were you born? What year were you born?
50.
50.
That makes Tim a tiger.
Tim the tiger. Tom is a tiger.
Tim the tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger Tom. That's
what does that mean? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Tom's great strength, being born in the year of the tiger, is that they're essentially courageous people, and they don't like authority, and they're very rebellious.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So you could work that out just looking at it.
And also their best ideas come in a great big rush. So they're terrific upfront people, but that he'll know this. That there are long periods where all tigers lose their sense of identity, and then they go down very, very rapidly. Best example of that, female tiger, Marilyn Monroe. I mean, wonderful on stage, all up front, absolutely, and then quick downslide.
So I've had it, basically.
No, you'll come back again.
Oh, that's
I told you this, Tom. I told you. If you stop going on about my sexist comments, you'll be all right. That'll be fine. How about the Chancellor? I mean, we had him on earlier on. He's a little bit dejected at the moment. He's obviously not very happy. What can he expect?
Well, he's a monkey, and
well, no. Don't be.
You didn't know.
Don't be rude about him.
No,
I mean, just
true.
what?
Well, monkeys. The monkey personality is one. They say that the monkey is the most adaptable of all the animals, and they don't have a lot of bottle. It must be said. I mean, when the
he's done quite well. Listen, I don't know anybody else.
Course longer than any of the others.
I don't know anybody else who would have the nerve to put the interest rates up as high as they've gone.
Yeah, and the nerve to leave it where it was and go. I mean, in a way.
Yes. Now that's a very good point. Yes.
And that's the monkey. That's your monkey all-over, James. You know. And the last great Chancellor of the Exchequer was our old friend who went on to the Common Market, Roy Jenkins, and he was a monkey as well. Roy Hatterley's a monkey, so there's not much to choose between them. Chancellors tend to be wheeler dealers and
monkeys.
And monkeys, yeah.
How does, but briefly, how does the Chinese horoscope differ from the, one you get in the paper normally?
In a word, Western astrology was a popular idea thought up by Lord Beaverbrook in 1927 to sell the Sunday Express, and it has no basis in anything other than being pure entertainment.
I thought a lot of these astrologers, I mean, they pore over maps and charts and go and learn.
What astrologers, generally speaking, at the popular level, pore over an index file, which they pull out each morning and kind of...
But then you would say that, wouldn't you?
I would say that, and I would say it because it's true, whereas these guys have been practicing this for 3 years. That's typically tigers, have you noticed?
I'm not going to get you to sort of punch up here, am I? I was hoping for something like that, but never mind. For the moment, thank you both very much indeed. Just before we go into the... we go into a break now, aren't we? Yes, I think we are. Just before we go into the break, here's a jolly little picture to cheer you up on this rather depressing morning. This has come from Boggy and Dom. 0684, that fax has come from. Where's 0684? Don't know. There's a little tacky postcard as well. You see that? Okay, good. We'll take a break. I tell you what. Tom, who is playing on the show tonight for us live, is also at the moment going around the country with his tour with the original band.
Yeah, with Danny and Mark.
All born at the same time and all the same star sign, all that sort of stuff. And he's playing all over the country at a place near you, but particularly next Tuesday at his hometown of Middlesbrough. I thought that other chap came from Middlesbrough.
Chris Rea.
Chris Rea.
Yeah. We had the same manager for a while.
He could come and play with you or something.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So get your
Town Hall.
Tuesday. Yeah. Get your tickets. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Robinson and Blood Brother.
Face a continuing battle against the terrorists and those who take hostages. We think of Terry Waite, Brian Keenan, John McCarthy, and of their families and friends who endure so much. Any government which has influence over those who hold hostages should be ready as a matter of course to use that influence to bring about their release. A country can't support terrorism and still expect to be treated as a member of the international community. To take hostages is to exclude yourself from the civilized world.
Well, that was Margaret talking about the hostages. Now, I have with me Brenda and Elaine. They are Brian Keenan's sisters. Brian is an Irish teacher. He was captured in April 1986, age 36. He has dual nationality, but considers himself to be Irish first and British second. And this week Brenda said, this is Brenda sitting closest to me, at first we followed the instructions of the Foreign Office and didn't make a fuss or talk to the press, which is, I believe, what the Foreign Office have told most of the people connected with hostages to do. Then we found people saying to us, what is Brian doing these days? And we couldn't stay silent any longer. And as you saw on our bit talking to people in the streets earlier on, people don't know the names of the hostages. They may know the name of Terry Waite, John McCarthy, but that's about it, isn't it?
That's true.
Brenda, first of all, it must be a very difficult thing to live with. It must even be worse than living with the thought of somebody who has died.
Yes, it is. James, when someone dies, yes, it can be very hurtful and it takes a little time, but time does heal. This death is just a living death.
Have you ever, when you first heard that Brian had been kidnapped, do you remember what your feelings were at that particular moment?
Just couldn't believe it. And then as the time went on, we said, they'll not hold him, they'll let him go, he'll be home soon. And as I said, we sat back for 7 months and said nothing, and people took it for granted that Brian was home.
Mm. Have you had any contact with him at all? Have you had letters from him? Have you been able to write to him?
No, we've had nothing at all from Brian. The only way we find that we can write to Brian is to publish something in the Beirut papers on chance that the kidnappers will see it and tell him or let him see it.
Have you any idea what sort of condition he could be in at the moment, what sort of place he could be held in?
No, the only thing we can go by is an ex-hostage which got out, John Paul Kaufman, and he told us that, and the conditions were really bad then.
Elaine, what have your feelings been since the first time? Have you felt anger towards the people who've kidnapped him? Do you feel as if you would do anything for them to let him go? What would you do?
Well, when Brian was first kidnapped, I mean, we knew nothing about the Lebanese and their politics, and we tried to go into their politics so we could understand their minds more. You lost your hatred, James, you didn't hold it for very long because you know the Lebanese are suffering also. And I wouldn't hate them for holding them, but I would think that 4 years is long enough for any man's dignity.
You see, it must be very difficult because you live in an area which has its own problems, and it must bring it home to you every day, presumably, the sort of things that happen in a terrorist situation.
Oh yes, people class Belfast as mini Beirut, but I would say Beirut is far worse than Belfast. And the slaughtering in Belfast and the slaughtering 45,000 people has been killed in camps in Beirut, and there's no talk of it in the media.
How optimistic are you, Brenda, that you will see your brother again?
Very optimistic. It is only from the heart, but I think the heart never lies. And we're sure we're going to see Brian, and we're not going to give up till we get him home.
Because it's been over 4 years now, hasn't it?
Well, it'll be 4 years on the 11th.
Is there a tendency to want to try and say, well, maybe he's dead, perhaps we should just think that he's died and forget all about it?
No, never. There is times when you've been working hard and you don't seem to be getting anywhere, and you seem as if you're hitting your head off a brick wall. But you never give up. The people in Belfast has been absolutely excellent with us.
I mean, you could be in this situation for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but we'll accept that and we'll go on fighting for Brian.
What would you like to see the government doing?
I think it's very important to keep talking.
You wouldn't like to see them, as the French did, pay the ransoms or release other prisoners?
We don't believe in deals with arms because we've seen killing in our own country and we've seen the slaughtering in Beirut. We don't want any more of that. We're peaceful people ourselves and we don't believe in it. But there are other ways. If you want to class it as doing deals, you could help out with medical supplies, food.
Do you know what
equipment
Brian's captors particularly want?
No, there's been never anybody came forward and said they're holding Brian, why they're holding him, or what they want.
Was he ever spying or involved in anything like that when he was over there? Or
Never like that. Brian was just an ordinary school teacher. He went out there to try to help the people of Lebanon.
What do you think, Elaine? Do you have any feelings? I mean, some people have said we've had lots of phone calls coming in tonight. We won't be able to obviously take all of them on the programme. And a lot of people ringing in and saying, why don't we send the troops out there? Why should we sit down and just allow people to do this to...
Yeah, we get this comment too, especially, well, I wouldn't say Christian people, but I would say, I mean, they think because Christ was crucified for souls and lives, why can't poor hostages? I mean, they're sitting in their home tonight. They haven't their brother missing. I don't know why he's alive or dead. I mean, he doesn't know why we're alive or dead. I would like to see troops go in. And I would hold a lot of resentment on either government, whoever sent them in, should it be the Irish, and which I don't think would do, or the British. I mean, Libyan bombing, planes took off from Britain, and what happened? They had 2 British citizens murdered over it.
At that particular time, how did you both feel? How did you feel, Brenda, when they were bombing the...
Very, very sad about it, and very, very worried and concerned. And when the 2 British boys were found dead, they also found another body. And we were told that it was a good possibility the 3rd body was Brian. And we were held for 48 hours waiting on the definite word. The news wasn't Brian. Unfortunately, it wasn't American.
A lot of people say that they would like to see the hostages' faces flashed up on television every night, people kept fully aware of the situation in this country, and not to have a situation where I could go out into any city in this country and ask people if they could name me the 4 hostages held in Lebanon, and they couldn't name them. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's good, but I think, James, also that there is more than 4 hostages.
Yes, of course.
We're talking about a hell of a lot of hostages, which runs into hundreds, and I would like to see more media publicity on that alone. And also on, obviously, my brother and Terry Waite and John. I would like to see it coming up on television. But, I mean, at the same time, what we're told in Ireland, that the people will get sick of looking at it.
Brenda, Elaine, thank you very much indeed. We'll take a break. It's all running around, isn't it, on this show? It's all running around all over the place. Tom and Barry are here in the studio, and they're going to chip in and when they feel the mood. That was a great song. Thanks for that, Tom. Now, this person, what's his name? Piers Morgan. We remember we got very upset with him because so far Vicky from Fuzzbox hasn't materialised, and it's not because Tom Robinson's here. I'd invited her to come and be my assistant. He objects to the name Bimbo. Be my wench, be my lady tonight, and bring things, you know, because I need one. You see the mess I'm in. And she has not turned up. So we said we get in touch with this Piers Morgan and have a word with him. And I find he's been castigating me in his column all during the week. Now, he's on the line now. I hope he's on the line now. Is he on the line? Piers. We're going to get him in a few moments. We'll have him on the line any moment now. He did write in the paper that he wasn't watching, and it wasn't his number we rang last week, but I'm sure it was. He was watching Sky TV. You know, I've heard about being sycophantic to the boss, really, Piers, but that is ridiculous, isn't it? Because we check the programmes on Sky.
Mr. Whale!
And you must have... Oh, my God.
Telegram, Mr. Whale!
OK, what?
Telegram.
Telegram from Mr. Whale. I never have any money on me. Does anybody have anything to tip him? Oh, here, hang on, OK.
Yes, sir.
Bog off now. Sorry, so sorry, believe me if you can. The reason that I'm not with you is because I'm in Japan. Love, Vicky Perks. Sorry about that. Well, Vicky, I hope she's going to come back. Wendy James I'm going to try. We've got her video hopefully coming up if I don't talk too much before long. Is Piers there? Piers? He's on. Hello, Piers.
Hi there.
I don't know where you were, Piers. You're doing this to me on purpose, aren't you?
No, not on purpose, mate.
Now listen, Piers. All this crap in the paper.
No,
now,
good
come on,
literature
Piers.
is what you're trying to say, James.
You know, you made this fictitious story about Vicky Perks and I. She is mad about me. I spoke to her, mad about me. She's apologised profusely and said that Piers Morgan is just a chinless wonder.
Well, I've got the tape here if you're interested, James.
I beg your pardon?
The tape of the interview we conducted with Miss Perks.
No, you'll have edited that. You'll
It's
have edited
here.
that.
It's here.
I don't care where it is. Listen.
If you're brave, you'll listen to it.
I'm not brave enough.
Here's a challenge. Play the tape.
Oh, what a bore. I'm sorry, Piers. You're just a boring... And I don't want to have any more of you on the programme. I don't have time to hear your tape, Piers. You couldn't speak for yourself. That's it. Get him off. Any more? You want any more of him? No. No, get rid of him. I mean, even putting a picture of me like that in the sun, there. Can you see that? A little lower, Martin, perhaps? There we are. That's lovely. I mean, just doesn't flatter me at all. I'm fed up with that. You can't trust them, can you?
No.
You cannot trust them.
No, dear. No.
Okay. Right, what are we doing now? Remind me what I'm going to do.
Wendy James.
Wendy James. She's lovely, isn't she? Calls. Okay, a couple of calls. Liam from Glasgow. Hello, Liam.
Good evening, James.
Yes, Liam, hi.
What do you think would happen if a member of royalty was taken hostage? Do you think it would take 4 years without the release?
It's a very good point. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that. I don't know whether you feel like commenting, but I think if a member of the royal family was taken, we'd find ourselves pretty soon in a war, wouldn't we? I think. I don't know. But I don't think they'd sit back and do nothing as they seem to be at the moment.
Depend who took them.
Yeah.
And it depended which member of royalty they took.
Well, we're talking top royalty here.
Top royalty.
We're talking top... No, don't worry about the underlings. We're talking top royalty here, Barry.
Princess Michael of Kent.
You know.
Not necessarily.
They
no,
probably...
it depends.
Anyway, right. Thank you, Liam. Mark from Blackpool. Hello, Mark.
Oh, James.
Yes, Mark.
Yeah, what I think is, do you think that what we should do is perhaps threaten or even trade places with somebody? You know, say they've got Terry Waite or whoever, and do you think we should perhaps swap? Because they keep asking it, will we trade 1 for 1, don't they? Or what do you think we should do? Trade 1 for 1 or go to war with them?
I don't think we should go to war with them.
Well,
I don't see any
really
kind
know
of
they are, do we?
benefit from going to war with them because you probably end up killing the people that you wanted to save.
Yeah. The thing is, though, that last caller turned around and
I
said...
think Brenda made the very good point, actually, Mark, when she said perhaps we could help them out with medical facilities and stuff like that. Maybe that would be a good idea. I don't know. Jimmy from Manchester. Hello, Jimmy.
Oh, morning, James.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning.
Yeah. Any points?
Yeah, she was talking about Wendy James. I saw her the other night. Very nice yours too.
Thank you. Right, good one from you, Jimmy. Scott from Aberdeen. Hello, Scott.
Hello, James.
Yes, Scott.
I would like to refer to a point that Tom made a few moments ago, well, about half an hour ago, about guns on aircraft. I work at the sharp end of airlines, and I find that the general public's attitude towards security on aircraft is quite abominable.
Really? Well, that was a joke, actually, you know. That was, I mean, sure, it was a joke in terribly bad taste, Scott. I would slap his wrist.
It wasn't my joke, it was Craig Ferguson you got to pick up.
Well,
No,
it's Craig Ferguson.
The point is...
Should I know Craig Ferguson?
Bing Hitler.
What?
Bing Hitler.
Really?
Bing Hitler?
He's the most famous comedian in Scotland, for Christ's sake.
Is he? I've never heard of Craig Ferguson. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
Have him on the show, have him on the show.
Is he worth having on the show?
Definitely.
We've heard of Bing Hitler.
Yeah?
I think much worse than the guns is the food that they put on the airplanes.
Oh,
I mean,
Barry, get out of here.
there's certainly more.
Scott, thank you for your point, and we'll
dangerous than
get what's his name on if we... I never heard of him. He's good, is he?
He's brilliant.
Michael from
Funniest
Oxford.
man in Scotland.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, James.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about Myra Hindley. I heard you had a show on Wednesday.
I had a radio show on Wednesday where we did talk quite a lot about Myra.
Yeah, well,
In
we
fact,
don't get it in Oxford, see.
What I hope to do, it's a good point actually, what I hope to do, maybe we can talk a little bit about it. We're doing a different show next week, but I'd like to run a vote line on the show to see whether people feel she should be released or not.
Well, seriously thinking, just because she's got a knighthood now and a big black coat.
Oh, very stupid. What? Pillock. People like you shouldn't be allowed to watch intelligent, sophisticated, sensitive broadcasters like me. Now, we couldn't get Vicky Perks on the show, but she will come on. And I have to admit to saying that I actually watched a little bit of Des O'Connor tonight because Wendy James was on that. And Wendy says she doesn't want to be taken as a sex object and she wishes men wouldn't look at her in a lustful manner. Well, okay. It's like that commercial on the television where you chew one of those fruit pastels and they say, I bet you can't smile when you chew one of these. I bet those guys out there can't actually watch this without thinking, oof. Okay, have a nice weekend. This is the end of the show. Before I go, we want to leave you with some more thoughts on the hostages in the Lebanon. Now, if you would like to get in touch with organizations that are trying to help free them, you can write to us and we will forward your letters. The reason we played the end credits earlier tonight was that we wanted to play this next piece of film as close to a commercial break as we can. Although you can see it regularly in commercial breaks on Sky TV, we're not allowed to show it in commercial breaks on the independent channels because it's considered to be a politically motivated commercial. I think every one of us should see it regularly, and so I'm going to say goodnight and leave you to think as you watch this. This is actually the commercial that was made to try and help free John McCarthy. It also has a message for everybody else that is held against their will. Thank you for watching. We're back next week. Goodbye.